to today's study in Search the Scriptures. We are on study number 20 in the book of Numbers, and it covers two chapters that are not side by side actually, but chapter 27 and chapter 36. And it makes sense in a moment why we are studying these two chapters at the same time. We're going to answer two questions. The first is this: what was the principle lying behind the request of the daughters of Zelophehad, and to what did the request lead, and what was the importance of all this? And secondly, what was Moses' overriding concern before his death, and how was Joshua's commission different from that of Moses, and was it inferior? Well, let's look at Numbers chapter 27 and chapter number 36. The reason we are studying these two chapters, even though they're not side by side in the Word of God, is because there is the story of Zelophehad's daughters is told in chapter 26 and then revisited in chapter number 36. So that's why we're studying them together today. So let's look at chapter number 27. Verse 1, the daughters of Zelophehad, son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, belonged to the clans of Manasseh, son of Joseph. And the names of the daughters were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. And they approached the entrance to the tent of meeting, and they stood before Moses, Eleazar the priest. Remember, Aaron's died at this point, the leaders and the whole assembly, and they said, "Our father died in the desert, but he was not among Korah's followers who banded together against the Lord, but he died for his own sin and left no sons. Why should our father's name disappear from his clan because he had no son? Give us property among our father's relatives." So Moses brought their case before the Lord, and the Lord said to him, "What Zelophehad's daughters are saying is right. You must certainly give them property as an inheritance among their father's relatives, and turn their father's inheritance over to them. Say to the Israelites, if a man dies and leaves no son, turn his inheritance over to his daughter. And if he has no daughter, give his inheritance to his brothers. And if he has no brothers, give his inheritance to his father's brothers. And if his father had no brothers, give his inheritance to the nearest relative in his clan, that he may possess it." This is to be a legal requirement for the Lord, as the Lord commanded Israelites, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go up this mountain in the Abiram range and see the land that I have given the Israelites. After you have seen it, you too will be gathered to your people, as your brother Aaron was. For when the community rebelled at the waters in the desert of Zin, both of you disobeyed my command to honor me as holy before their eyes. These were the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the desert of Zin. And Moses said to the Lord, May the Lord, the God of the spirits of all mankind, appoint a man over this community to go out and come in before them, one who will lead them out and bring them in, so the Lord's people will not be like sheep without a shepherd." So the Lord said to Moses, "Take Joshua son of Nun, a man in whom is the Spirit, and lay your hand on him, and have him stand before Eleazar the priest and the entire assembly, and commission him in their presence, and give him some of your authority, so the whole Israelite community will obey him. He is to stand before Eleazar the priest, who will obtain decisions before the Lord by inquiring of the Urim before the Lord. At his command, he and the entire community of the Israelites will go out, and at his command they will come in." Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He took Joshua and had him stand before Eleazar the priest and the whole assembly. Then he laid his hands on him and commissioned him as the Lord instructed through Moses. Now we're going to go to chapter number 36, verse 1. The family heads of the clan of Gilead, son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, who were from the clans of the descendants of Joseph, came and spoke before Moses and the leaders, the heads of the Israelite families. And they said, "When the Lord commanded my Lord to give the land as an inheritance to the Israelites by lot, he ordered you to give the inheritance of our brother Zelophehad to his daughters. Now suppose they marry men from other Israelite tribes, then their inheritance will be taken from our ancestral inheritance and added to that of the tribe they marry into. And so part of the inheritance allotted to us will be taken away. When the year of Jubilee from the Israelites comes, their inheritance will be added to that of the tribe into which they marry, and their property will be taken from the tribal inheritance of our forefathers. Then at the Lord's command, Moses gave this order to the Israelites. What the tribe of the descendants of Joseph is saying is right. This is what the Lord commands for Zelophehad's daughters. They may marry anyone they please as long as they marry within the tribal clan of their father. No inheritance in Israel is to pass from tribe to tribe, for every Israelite shall keep the tribal land inherited from his forefathers. Every daughter who inherits land in any Israelite tribe must marry someone in her father's tribal clan, so that every Israelite will possess the inheritance of his fathers. No inheritance may pass from tribe to tribe, for each Israelite tribe is to keep the land that it inherits. So Zelophehad's daughters did as the Lord commanded Moses, and Zelophehad's daughters, Mahlah, Tirzah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Noah, married their cousins on their father's side. They married within the clans of the descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in their father's clan and tribe. These are the commands and regulations the Lord gave through Moses to the Israelites on the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho. So back to the questions. Question number 1, what was the principle lying behind the request of the daughters of Zelophehad, and to what did the request lead, and what was the importance of all this? The principle lying really behind the request of Zelophehad's daughter was one of inheritance of land. The request led to a further need for clarification. There was concern that the land could pass through marriage from one tribe to another, and the tribe of Manasseh would therefore lose land, and it would further open the door for loss of land in the future for themselves and for other tribes if women inheriting the land were allowed to marry outside of the tribe. So it was all about land and keeping it within the tribe. Question 2, what was Moses' overriding concern before his death, and how was Joshua's commission different from that of Moses, and was it inferior? Well, the overriding concern of Moses before his death was who would lead the people when he was gone. It's always a concern of a leader. While Moses was commissioned a little bit differently, he was commissioned directly by God, and Joshua's commissioning was presided over by the high priest Eleazar and Moses. God, of course, was still involved in the commissioning, and therefore it shouldn't be really considered as inferior. In fact, the commissioning of Joshua provides for a much smoother leadership assumption than that of Moses did. Moses had some difficulties being accepted as a leader, but the fact that Moses gave some of his authority over to Joshua while he was still alive helped to elevate Joshua in the eyes of the people. And this transition of leadership should really serve as an example of the biblical principle of a leader having a vital role in the choosing of and in the ordaining of, commissioning of his successor. It should be the normal pattern of leadership transition in a church, but unfortunately it's not. And perhaps if we would hold to a more biblical pattern of transition, then we could avoid a lot of the problems that seem to be inevitable when leadership transitions occur. Well, I hope this study has been helpful to you today. I hope you're having a fantastic day. God bless, and I hope you thoroughly enjoy the rest of your day.